Lawmakers are finally confronting a problem on Capitol Hill that those of you at home identified years ago. Banning members of Congress and their families, like their husbands, from trading individual stocks. The push is loud, it's bipartisan, and it's gaining momentum.
Members of Congress unequivocally have access to inside information. We do.
I think it will be one of the things that we look back on down the road and say that was a moment where we showed the American people that we actually want to work for them and not for ourselves.
While those of us who are for a ban are very vocal about our views, the opponents are quiet, right? They don't get in front of the cameras and say, no, we want to keep trading stocks, but they are in the ear of leadership on both parties, right? There are members in both parties who do not want this to happen.
It's not a coinky-dink. Lawmakers are beating the market like they have a crystal ball, and they are losing trust from the public. Nancy Pelosi is getting out just in time because she and her husband have raked in a return of nearly 17,000% during her 4 decades in public office. There is no reason on planet Earth. Sean Duffy, now our Transportation Secretary, tried to convince me otherwise. I am backtracking. There is no reason on planet Earth that these people need to own individual securities, including futures and options, and trade them.
100% agree with you unequivocally. Congress members should not be the best performing investors on Wall Street. Do we outright ban it? I don't know, but here's what I can tell you. I'm on the board of 2 public companies. I work for a public company. I was an investment banker at a broker-dealer. There are so many strict regulations and well-worn regulations about timing investments and when it's allowed and when it's not allowed. They have definitive access to material non-public information. It's a no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You shouldn't be allowed to trade on that.
So I drank the Sean Duffy Kool-Aid for like a second.
Yeah.
He definitely made me think about it, but then I have come back to the other side. And the other night we had the author of the legislation on, Anna Paulina Luna, and she echoed her sentiment, which she's been around saying a lot, which is basically if you want to trade stocks, you go to Wall Street. Don't do it in Congress. And what the legislation allows for is blind trusts. So it's not saying that you have to sit out of the market completely. It just says that you are not allowed to execute your own trades. You can allocate a certain amount of money to a portfolio, have somebody manage it for you, and not know what's going on within it or, have any communications about it based on things you may or may not know. ETFs, mutual funds, all that stuff is okay. So if they're worried about their retirement, we always talk about that on the show, they can still participate in this way. What you can't do, Paul Pelosi, is, puts and calls on NVIDIA based on legislation that is coming out. And that is what makes everybody so angry, is when you find even whatever might seem coincidental. Listen, nobody's ever been charged in Congress with insider trading, so I'm not going to, go there or pretend to be the SEC. But even the appearance of improprietary actions or, anything that doesn't seem above board, it creates a public distrust, and that is what this legislation is trying to go after.
Yeah. It's a conflict of interest. You can't make the policies that impact these companies and be unbiased and with that information.
See, I think that's the bigger problem. I'm with you guys on this. But to me, the bigger problem is how much Congress meddles with all these companies and regulates all these companies. And so when I see, like, Pramila Jayapal up there saying she's in on this and wants to ban it, I just think it makes me nervous. Like, it makes me nervous that there's some ulterior motive here. Maybe we ban congressional stock trading, but it gives these guys license to grow their power over businesses. Because, hey, we don't trade these things. There's no personal advantage. So we want to regulate all this stuff. I mean, the best answer would be get these guys out of American capitalism, and they wouldn't be able to profit off inside information on American capitalism.
But it's only getting worse, right?
I mean,
the government
it is.
stakes and things.
Duffy always used to argue 2 things: that rank and file members of Congress don't have access to material non-public information. They know what is in the public sphere, and it's a financial burden on people. But when you deprive them of the ability to make money in the stock market or whatever, I have never owned individual securities, and I've worked in financial journalism for over 30 years. And quite frankly, you will, in mutual funds and ETFs, beat people who individual stocks anyway.
I take issue with his first point, though, because the rank and file in publicly traded companies absolutely have more context than the average investor on Main Street. There's a definitive advantage that they have being in Congress and knowing what's being considered and hearing conversations. Does it cross and breach the level of materiality as defined by FINRA? I don't know, but I think it's pretty slippery slope to say that they don't have an advantage by being in those conversations.
Dagan, I think you nailed it. I always love just investing in the S&P 500 because I know in the long run, generally, I'll do pretty well. So if I have a member of Congress who comes up to me and says, "You're taking away my livelihood," not if it's in a blind trust or not if it's in just an index fund. So I think that sort of helps snuff out that idea. Here's another thought. Anytime we interview an analyst, let's say I want to interview an analyst who covers Uber stock, they have to disclose if they own Uber stock. If they have a buy rating, I want to know if you own it or if your firm was involved in the IPO of that company. We could also do something like that where they are required in real time. I don't want this like a 13F filing. Here's what I owned as of September 30.
Right.
I kind of want to know in real time, what are you buying and selling? In addition to the puts and calls, because I think that's the Pelosi play. And then there's more transparency of what they own.
Yeah, look, we have the regulations and the systems to handle this. It's called Form 4s, insider filings, right? We can just create a similar mirrored system that we have on Wall Street for K Street. Again, there should be ways for them to invest, but I think you've brought up the opportunities. Blind trust, maybe there's trading windows, maybe there's certain restrictions on what they can buy and sell. We can't block them out completely, but right now, just them having unfettered access to information and any option to invest.
Maybe that's a self-imposed term limit, though, too, right? So if you're banned while you're in office, maybe you won't be in office and be a lifer.
That's why I like
it.
That's why I like it.
Amen to that. I'll bring up Governor Kugler, who is no longer at the Federal Reserve, who was making investments around Fed decision day when that was a no-no.
Yeah.
How'd they bust her?
Yeah.
I want more info about that.
More info on that. I know you don't own personal stocks, by the way, but I know you were thinking about Chipotle during the stock market. I know you were thinking about it. Probably
Brian,
the closest
I hate to
you ever.
break, no one was thinking about
closest you ever
Chipotle.
We were all thinking about Palantir.
Stop trying to make Chipotle happen.
Make Chipotle great again, Brian. You can do it.
Let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
Free bird.
Free bird.